Welcome back, guys. Or if you're new here, I'm Automotive Anonymous, and today we're going to talk about gas prices because I want to know how my local gas prices compare to the national averages, and if prices are a joke, or if maybe they're actually pretty good, pretty fair right now. Back in 1970, as some of you guys might remember, gas prices used to be 36 cents a gallon. At least that's what Google tells me because I wasn't around back then. Today, that would be about $2.92 a gallon because of inflation in the United States. But also today, I'm going to go visit at least a half dozen different gas stations in an Idaho town that has a Walmart, a Costco, and a variety of other popular stations that are a nationwide company for the most part, to show you exactly what people around here are paying for gasoline and to see how it compares to your area as well as the national averages. So let's get right into it. Alright guys, starting out at Maverick, because these are usually a pretty good gas station, and $2.74 for unleaded 85, diesel's $3.57. Let's see what the pump shows. $3.57 for diesel, and then $2.75 for 87 octane. Although it is disappointing that it's a 20-cent jump up to 87, which is what most people use in your non-performance vehicles. 89 is just a 10-cent jump, and 91 is another 10-cent jump. So $3.15 for 91 octane is really not that bad. Just a couple years ago, after the Russia-Ukraine war started, I remember buying 91 octane for my Trans Am, and that was like $5.20 a gallon. That was pretty insane. But right now, most vehicles taking 87 octane and just under $3 at this gas station. Not too bad. What are your thoughts, and how much was your last gallon of gas, your last tank of gas? Comment that below. Otherwise, let's move on to the next gas station. Next is a Sinclair, and it's actually just across the street from the Maverick. You can see the Mavericks right there. So this one advertises that they're only 1 cent more for 87, as we can assume that that's what's right there, as is diesel, just a cent more. But then what's interesting is it's a 25, actually no, it's a 30-cent jump from 85 to 87, and then it's a 15-cent jump to each of those other ones. Whereas over across the street at Maverick, it was a 20-cent jump, if you remember, from 85 to 87, rather than 30 cent. And then it was just a 10-cent further increase. So although the signs look very similar, you think you're going to be paying the same. If you need 87 or higher, you might be paying a lot more just for being across the street, being on the wrong side of the road. Anyways, off to the next stop. And here I'm at a Shell. Before I show you the main prices, check out the sign. Regular is $2.85, diesel is $3.79. So let's see how that compares. Once they attract you at the $2.85, you can see that's there for regular 85. But then it's a pretty hefty 30-cent jump up to 87, which is most people run in their cars, since regular is more for lawnmowers and things that you don't care about. And then 91 premium is $3.45. Diesel is as listed, $3.79. But I'm always disappointed when there's a 30-cent jump, anything more than 10 cents like it used to be. And across the street from the Shell is a Sinclair, also $2.85. So let's see what their octane is, what they offer. Looks like they do have ethanol free, and that's $3.28. So 85 is as listed, $2.85, but then their 91 is only $3.15. Their 87 is only $3 even. So there's about a 15-cent difference on their 87, about a 30-cent difference on their 91. Assuming that Dyno Care is basically the same quality that Shell and their additives include. Pretty interesting that a drive about 200 feet across the street could save you up to 30 cents per gallon. And don't forget, guys, if you're enjoying this video so far and you want to see more stuff like this, like the video, let me know in the comments, but also comment your gas prices and the state, at least if you don't mind, or the Providence if you're in Canada, or wherever you are in the world. Comment what your cost per gallon or cost per liter is. I'm pretty interested. But so far it's pretty interesting showing you guys those two different gas station corners back to back, how different the prices are. So although the signs look the same, you might want to use an app like Gas Buddy so that you don't have to stop at one, realize there's a 30-cent jump and you're being overcharged. But let's head out to a few more gas stations. I'm going to go to Costco, which is often thought to be one of the cheaper gas stations, while having some of the better quality gasoline, being more of a top tier type of gas. And then maybe we'll go to Walmart and we'll see how those compare to what you've already seen. And then I'm going to try to find the most expensive gas station in this area to show you what the difference is between the least and the most expensive. All right, guys, and we are at Costco, and they only have two options, 85 and 91. But 85 is only $2.50 a gallon. So you're gonna be running that lawnmower for a really long time. And 91 is only about 5 cents more than some of the other gas stations charge for 85. Or depending on which one you go to, that's basically the price of 87 elsewhere. So that's really pretty impressive. Kudos to Costco, $2.90 for 91 octane. And next stop is Wally World Walmart, which I think I've only personally bought gas at Walmart a couple times, and I don't remember it being exceptionally cheaper or noticeably cheaper than what I would have assumed any other gas station was. But maybe I was wrong, maybe I'm wrong now, and maybe Walmart will surprise us. But those Costco prices are pretty impressive. It's just too bad that you can't choose 87 or 89. You have to go all the way up to 91 if you don't want to run lawnmower gas through your car, which most of us probably don't. But I do think it's really interesting that of all the gas stations I've already gone to show you guys today, I haven't seen E85 or corn gas as its nickname, basically fuel that sometimes you'll put in a flex fuel car, or something that's built for performance and has the tubing and the hoses and basically the software changes in the PCM to handle that, to make a little bit more power with just changing your fuel. Usually the downside to E85 is you just don't get the same miles per gallon. So you might have a 15% horsepower bump and half the gas mileage. I've never personally ran a car with the 85. If you have, comment that below. I want to know about your experience with it, and if you still do, or if you're going to convert back. But it's interesting, no E85, and also no, as it's called, blue fuel now, which is the ethanol free. Ethanol is known to like to eat up gaskets and rubberized parts, especially on older cars, and sometimes having an ethanol free car or ethanol free gas in your car might get you a couple extra MPGs. I have noticed that in personal experience, like the car I used to drive back in high school. That was also an ethanol gas, was not really much more than regular 87. And from what I've seen in other towns, ethanol gas is sometimes up to about 40 cents more, which is a shame, but it's nice to have options. All right, guys, we made it to Walmart in $2.50 for unleaded, or just over $3.50 for diesel, which matches the base ones. But then going to 87, that's a 30-cent jump again, and then a 20-cent jump to 91. So 91 here is about $3. So a little bit more expensive than Costco, but a little bit cheaper than some other places. And honestly, there were a few vehicles parked next to me that just left. But this Walmart gas station, at the time that I'm here, is actually pretty busy with about every other pump being taken. Similar to Costco, which is also usually a pretty busy station from what I see. Probably because there's other selling store services here and people like to fuel up before they leave town. But $3 for 91, not too bad. And because I don't want to keep this video too long, let's just do two more stops. One is going to be a Chevron, because I haven't shown you that yet. Chevron uses Tectron, which is a fuel additive. They clean out your injectors, your lines, things like that. So sometimes they seem to be a little bit more expensive, at least in my own experience, but they are a top tier gas station and they do have that extra benefit. So let's go see what Tectron gas at Chevron costs. And then I'm gonna go to the most expensive gas station that I've heard of in this area. All right, guys, I made it to Chevron, which is actually just across the street from Costco. And it's $2.85 for the low octane, 85 octane, and $3.80 for diesel. So if we look at the pump, there's no E85, there's no blue fuel, which is again is the ethanol free, but diesel, as mentioned, is $3.80. And for being right next to Costco, which I will say you do need to have a Costco card to use their gas pumps, at least as far as I'm aware. 85 is 35 cents more here. 91 is 55 cents more than Costco. Is the 91 octane here, the Supreme with Tectron, worth an extra 55 cents? What do you guys think? As I head back out of town, I think I'm saving the best for last, which in this case is actually the worst, because I think this gas station will be the most expensive. Although location and a lot of other factors like management play a key role in how expensive gas prices are, supply and demand, economics, living in the capitalistic world, I can't be surprised that a gas station in the middle of nowhere, when it's your only option, that they can charge whatever they want, and hopefully their Yelp reviews aren't too bad. But I do want to share with you guys, after maybe 30 seconds of some Googling, Google says the average person pays about $150 to $200 a month for gasoline. So over the course of the year, an average person pays about $2,000 or just over, and an average family or household with, 2 to 3 drivers typically pays about $5,000. Do you guys pay anywhere near $5,000 in your household, or you as an individual? I suppose you could pay a lot more if you're daily driving a TRX or a Humvee or something like that. But I think a lot of people probably do pay 50 bucks or less. Usually averages are skewed unusually high because of the high outliers. There's usually not low outliers. Like what, you pay $7 a week for gas instead of 50 versus someone else that might pay $600 a week for gas. So usually outliers are skewed high, at least in my experience, averages compared to medians. But I am curious how much you guys do spend for gasoline, and let's see how expensive this out-of-town gas station really is. All right, guys, sorry about the wind. The Miata made it. There's a lot of construction in this area. But there's an extra option here. We finally have a blue handle that's actually for ethanol free. So let's check it out. Diesel is $4, so only about 50 cents more than the other gas stations. 85 though is $3. If you remember at Walmart, 91 octane was $3, and at Costco it was $2.90. Then 87 looks like it's a 30-cent jump. 91, another 30-cent jump. And then if you want 91 ethanol free, it's $5 or $5.10 basically. Pretty crazy how expensive gas is. So you can still get a $5 gallon of gas, or divide that by 3.78 if you want the liters per gallon. Well guys, I think we all learned a very valuable lesson today that gas stations differ in quite a bit. Sometimes depending on the octane, even in town. We're not going to use that out of town example really to compare to, because that's a convenience issue. That's not a, just taking a right turn versus a left turn off of the street to get gas at whichever gas station you choose, because usually they are competing. Usually they do have the same basic 85 octane price, but as you guys saw, sometimes that is a 20-cent difference. So if you fill up 18 gallons, 20 cents, that's $3.60 just for taking a right or a left turn. And in a world where research says over half of the people live paycheck to paycheck, $3, $4 every week just in gas difference, depending on which turn signal you turned on to pull off the road, that can add up. That could be $200 a year. So I do think it's worth knowing which gas stations are the cheapest. And in my findings today, Costco is the winner, but Costco requires a membership. So Walmart's the winner, but we have to assume that all gas is created equal, which we know it probably isn't, but Walmart was definitely the cheapest one. Other than that, maybe Maverick, maybe one of the Sinclairs. There's a lot of variance, so depending on where you live, figure it out. Which one is the best one for you? Which one is the most convenient one to take that doesn't add extra distance to your trip and extra mileage and time wasted? Anyways, guys, if you got anything at all out of this video, please like the video. That act of kindness really goes a long way, and it'll show you more interesting stuff like this. Comment all of your thoughts and opinions below, but especially where you live and what your gas prices are, because I really want to know that, and I'm sure other people do too. Otherwise, I can't complain that currently 91 octane, depending on where you're at, is basically the same price it was back in 1970. So I think that's a win for America. Hopefully other countries, gas isn't too overly priced or too outrageously expensive right now, but it differs. Every area is different, and usually this area isn't as cheap as it is. Anyways, I wish you guys the best. Take care until next time. See ya.